Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich, and welcome to another Witchy Book Club series. This week, excuse me, we are going through Chapter 7 of the Inner Temple of Witchcraft. Get your copy. Links will be in the description below. Let me go ahead and adjust the mic here. Let me look at something real quick. I want to make sure that everything is recording, and yep, we are good to go. So let's go ahead and apply that. I am trying something new over on the screen over here to make sure that I'm in the shot and whatnot, and my chair is not right. My legs aren't just things are going on here. Okay. So a couple things that you need to know before I get into Chapter 7. This is my second take, so I'm trying to, because I started rambling on and on and on. Chapter 6, let's recap on what we did there. I didn't go and do all of the exercises. I will be completely honest. I didn't even completely finish reading Chapter 7 until just a little bit ago, and this is Friday at about 9 o'clock, and I'm also going to have my phone going off here in a little bit telling me it's almost time for bed. So whenever that goes off, I'm going to just click stop for that. Anyway, so one thing that happened this week, and I'm going to be completely honest, I'm really invested, well, not invested, but really interested in seeing how this impeachment trial turns out. This seems like an annual occurrence. Hopefully it doesn't continue. Maybe this is the last impeachment trial that we see in our lifetimes. But anyway, I am really interested in the process and procedure of it, so I have been following that, and that's why I'm recording this so late, and why I barely had the gumption within me to read the 8.5, 9 pages of Chapter 7. Definitely should have been able to do it, but I took the route of being consumed by the media and whatnot, and the trial of, well, this year. I got my Mountain Dew today, hashtag not sponsored. If y'all at Mountain Dew want to sponsor me, go right ahead. I got projects in the background that I'm working to try to manifest into reality that I'm not going to talk about any further, and you can't make me. So, anyway, recapping on Chapter 6, there are exercises that I do just about every night anyway, like the total relaxation and the counting down to meditative state. I do those relaxation and meditation rituals almost all the time. They help me fall asleep, they get me in that meditative state. I've done the candle meditation before, so I've definitely done that before. The basic visualization, I am going to practice a little bit more with it, but I have very good visualization for myself. You know, the smelling, the feel of the air, the feel of the ground on my feet, stuff like that. I am fairly good at that. One thing with having a very active imagination whenever I was younger is that I did not shy away from exercising that. I did not, however, do the affirmations or the instant magic. And I'm going to talk about that just for a second here. I wanted to program my trigger for the instant magic ritual, or the instant magic techniques that he has here. I wanted to find a mudra, a hand gesture that works for me, that is completely for me. And one of the resources that I'm using to try to find the mudra that is for me is this. This is Mudra Yoga for your hands, and it gives a lot of different different ways to do mudras and what they are good for. What you do with your right hand, what you do with your left hand, and what you do with the rest of your body while you're doing that. It gives different techniques for different results. It does give affirmations and whatnot. So, yeah, I am definitely going to be going through this and picking either a mudra from here or from this. So this is mudras for awakening the energy body. What the heck? Oh, that's my watch going off. Okay. So mudras for awakening the energy body. This is a deck and book, and it has some really cool things in there, like these little mudras here for awakening. And I'm just gonna pick a few out of here. Nourishment, and they go by chakras and whatnot. That one's for centering. That's a good one to do. There you go. I'm just gonna hold that one up just for a second there without the. Yep. Okay. So it, and then it has some cards for the chakras and whatnot. I'm going to probably do a deck review of this because I don't think I've done a deck review on this. I might do that separate from the Tarot Talk monthly deck reviews. But that's one thing that I'm going to be consulting whenever I'm coming up with my trigger and whatnot. But I want to find the one that is right for me, that is significant to me, and go from there. So, let's get into Chapter 7, since we already just talked about things that I did not do. Oh, and another thing is writing daily journals, journal entries. So 3 pages a day hasn't completely worked out for me. The last couple days I have been getting better at it. For me, it's a process that I have to work up to. Writing 3 pages a day for me takes just about all day. And what I do is, a little behind the scenes, is while I'm at work, I will have my journal there. And actually, my journal is right here. Okay, so I will have the journal with me. I will have it on the desk at work. And if I have a few moments, I will open it up and I will start writing. And as you can see, I write and write and write and write and write. I do enjoy writing. So let's see. I started my entry for today. And I go through and I add to this throughout the day. So I did, I'm doing Friday, which is today. I did Thursday. I did Wednesday. Did I do Tuesday? I did Tuesday. I did Monday. Okay. So, yeah. I've done every weekday this week so far. So I'm getting better at it. And I hope that's the case for you guys too. If you're having issues with doing journal entries, let me know in the comments below. Maybe we can give you some journal prompts to start out with, and get the juices flowing. The thing for me is, I usually write down like whatever my project is in the background, the things that you guys have no idea that's going on. Yeah, I have a couple things going on in the background that I'm not really ready to mention to the public. I may be contacting some of you out there in the Christo-Pagan community, because it does have to do with the Christo-Pagan community. Yeah, I may be contacting some of you to help out with this project. It's something that I would like to do in the future, and have continuing in perpetuity. This is not going to be a one-time project, one and done. This is going to be an ongoing thing. So, something that I'm working on. Anyway, I write about that. I write about, philosophy, theology, my ideas on current events and situations, my day in general, and things that irritate me, things that have pissed me off, and how that made me feel in deep down. So yeah, some of it is a little bit revealing of me, of what happens in my daily life and what is on my mind most times of the day. And some of it is like a one and done thing. Like, hey, this thought popped in my head, and now I'm addressing it, and now it's going away. So not all of it makes sense. Not all of it is cohesive and in order and whatnot. But that's okay. I mean, it's my journal. It's how I journal. Apparently, seeing that I've never really kept a journal this long into the year. I'm kind of enjoying it. It's a nice little thing to do. Anyway, I don't know how far we are into this video. We are already 11 and a half minutes in, and I have not gotten into this chapter. Again, this is like 8.5, 9 pages worth of material. So, not a lot that I'm going to be talking about. There is going to be a lot of reading because there's like a page and a half of reading that I have set aside here. Other than that, some of this is just general notes and talking points and whatnot. So let me get a drink here, and we will get into it starting on page 119. Turn to 119 in your Inner Temple of Witchcraft. There you go. Anyway. Again, if you don't have your copy, go into the description below and get your Inner Temple of Witchcraft by Christopher Penzak through Amazon. I would prefer you get it from like the mom and pop shops, the witchy stores and whatnot, your local bookstores, rather than getting it on Amazon. But I know that Amazon might be more available to you, so that's why I use Amazon as the link that I provide. So if you don't have your copy, you can get it there. And yeah, while you're down there, hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, appease the algorithmic gods of YouTube, and let's get into Chapter 7, which is Lesson 3, The Magic of Science. Okay, so he starts out in this chapter. At one time, science and spirit were a single discipline, but the two broke apart in Western culture and did not mix again until the 20th century. He usually has a tendency to open a little bit more bold in his openings of chapters. This one, not so much, but still a good opening. Not going to deny it. Continues, the 20th century is looked at as a time of dispelling the occult and paranormal, but science, strangely enough, has led us back to the mystical through some interesting theories and the advent of a new paradigm that borders on the spiritual and not the mechanical. Skipping down. One of the first was the somewhat controversial theory of quantum physics. Okay, so this is a very science-heavy chapter. I don't know much about science. I try to know as much as possible about science and speak as intelligently on the science that I do know. However, most of it goes over my head, over my brain thing, does not compute type of deal. So I'm going to try to be as articulate as possible. And you know what? Because this is pissing me off that I'm constantly looking over there, I'm turning off the screen. Just saying. It's still recording, I hope. But yeah, I'm turning that off because, yeah, all I keep on doing is looking over there at myself. And now I can focus on you guys. So, anyway. And I do have my sleep shirt on. This is a military sleep shirt, as we call it, a sleep shirt. And it is cozy and comfy, and I love it so much. Anyway, moving on. At the bottom of page 119, originally the theories were not an attempt to create a new discipline or scientific paradigm, but to account for old experimental results that did not conform to the generality accepted classical rules of physics. Okay, so it's um, kind of odd how science works, because there are times whenever you look to do one thing, but it, you know, fate, in a way, has um, different things in mind. In one of the things that I think about whenever it comes to science and the way things end up being is with like silly putty. Silly putty was originally invented to be a drywall. Oh no, what was it? Play-Doh? No, it was silly putty. I'm pretty sure. Somebody will correct me, put it in the comments below, and we'll have fun calling me an idiot. However, I think it was silly putty was originally used as a drywall, or not drywall, a wallpaper cleaner. I think it was silly putty, but anyway, it could have been Play-Doh. Anyway, we're gonna say it was one of those two. I think it was silly putty though. Moving on. And I'm leaving that in. Don't care. Moving on to the next page. This whole page I kind of want to read, because quantum physics fascinates me. So, yeah. Here we go. Let's see if I can do this all in one take. This should be fun. Though a quanta refers to a bundle of energy, the smallest discrete amount of energy that can be measured, quantum theory does not deal exclusively with the micro world, but the entire universe. The previous scientific paradigm described the universe in terms of distinct divisions, and in particular, two separate groups, particles and waves. Particles held a position and waves had momentum. The building blocks of all matter and energy were either in particle or wave form. Everything was believed to be separate and distinct. Every part is in its own space and time, linked only through observable forces. Classical physics is very rigid and predictable. Events happen due to an observable cause and effect. Conditions can be maintained and controlled in experiments to repeat the process with the same results. However, results of many new experiments with subatomic particles did not fit this classical model. Some results were non-local, occurring without an observable cause. The further one dove into the micro world and divided the particles of matter into smaller and smaller units, the less they behaved like individual units. The distinction between particles and waves grew fuzzy. At times, a unit such as an electron behaved as a particle. We think of an electron as a ball of energy with a negative charge circling the nucleus of an atom, like a planet orbiting the sun. In other experiments, an electron exhibited the characteristics of a wave. It depended on the experiment. In fact, it is speculated that such energies only have a particle form when we are looking at them. It is like saying that the universe changes It's like saying that the universe changes when we turn our back on it, but then conforms to our expectations when we observe it. We never know both the position, particle, and the momentum, wave, of a quanta at the same time. Observing one changes the other. In fact, they may not possess both attributes at the same time. This is the core of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Suddenly, the particles of matter, which we thought were solid and dependable, became fuzzy and nondescript. Certain energies, such as X-rays, were always believed to be in wave form, but under certain conditions, they exhibited particle properties. Suddenly, everything we knew about physics was called into question. Scientists discovered the power of the observer. Somehow, the interaction of the observer, once considered independent of the experiment, had become crucial to the way experiments were conducted, and the results were subtly influenced. The behavior of the phenomenon would change depending on who was observing it, and what thoughts, feelings, and expectations the observer had. Controlled conditions were no longer controlled. Gradually, scientists started coming to the conclusion that the pieces of the experiment were not separate unto themselves, but part of a larger whole, extending beyond the experiment and including the observer and quite possibly the whole universe. I love this section because when we observe things, they do change according to this. And it was never thought. It was never thought that just because I see this, that it does something different. This lighter is still lighter if I'm not looking at it right. Well, not according to this. According to this principle, this lighter could just cease to exist if I stop looking at it. But then whenever I look over there, there's the lighter. Not a sleight of hand. I have like 3 dozen of these things. So anyway, yeah. If you're wondering, that would have been a fun editing trick, though. I should have done it. Damn. Okay. Anyway, moving on. He does talk about the holograms, and I didn't quite like. I don't get the hologram thing. I really don't. I understand it to the final part of the chapter. However, the whole hologram thing, to me, it doesn't make much sense, and it's hard to visualize it. And for me, I'm somebody that needs to have visuals besides this. And even though, and I can't see if you guys can see all of that, even though this is a nice little diagram and everything, yeah, it's not quite doing it for me. But then he goes into fields of consciousness. So, yeah, the hologram thing was for like a page and a half. You know, it's okay. It's an okay read. It's just not something that interested me. But the fields of consciousness fascinates me. He does touch on the 100 monkey, what do they call it? The 100 monkey theory? The 100th monkey theory. This is a theory that I heard about a couple years ago. And it is the theory that once a critical mass of individuals, in this case monkeys, once a critical mass of them observes or starts doing something, that it just becomes like a thing that all of that race end up doing. And I find it fascinating. And one of the podcasts I listen to is Psychic Teachers. I believe I've mentioned them on here once, twice, 300 times. And this is something that they have proposed as a theory of why there is so much more enlightenment happening in this day and age, why people are coming into their psychic abilities, or they're recognizing their psychic abilities and whatnot. Let me get a drink here. Is because as a collective, we are starting to observe and recognize certain aspects around us. And maybe we've gotten to the critical mass of the 100th monkey, and now like everybody's picking up on it. And of course, you're always going to have those who detract and say, no, this is not intuition. It cannot be. No. Just to let you know, you're intuitive. And I like that about you. Anyway, moving on. I'm acting a little crazy today, getting a little tired, and this is how I act whenever I get my second wind. Who knew? Starting at page 125. This is the second paragraph now, or the first full paragraph of the page. And it says, we can tune in to the information of the morphic fields, not only for physical development, but for any information in our species. Our brains and memories retrieve information from the field we needed. Although we contain individual identity, characteristics, and knowledge, we also share in the wealth of identity, characteristics, and knowledge of our species. And I like that. Going on, and I'm going to go on before I comment on this. On the spiritual front, morphic fields could be pointing the way to consciousness beyond the physical, and we can speculate about the existence of non-physical beings, ghosts, angels, goddesses, and the places such as heaven or the underworld as part of these non-physical information fields. Carl Jung's collective consciousness could be one aspect of these energy fields being explored by science. I really, really love this. If this is true, if this 100th monkey experiment, supports a collective consciousness, this is huge, because then we are all pulling from a similar area. We're our higher selves, the lights, the Drighton, the universe, the universal energies out there. We're all pulling from that, and we all belong to it. It's part of that connectedness that we all feel in some way, shape, or form. We're all connected by this strand of a likeness that draws us to one another. One way or another, we're alike. And also thinking about that, hold on. I also think of we're all woven, or we're all threads in this woven tapestry of humanity. And, even though you may not like a certain person, if we tug a little, it not only affects them, it affects people around them, and affects people around them, and then affects people around them. And after 6 keys of separation, it affects Kevin Bacon, and we all love him. Anyway, we're moving on. 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon. Yes, it is a thing. He goes into state about this holographic principle here, and I wasn't the holographic universe. I don't really buy into this. This is on page 125 and 126. So he goes into talking about this holographic universe. I'm not sold on it. Could it be true? Absolutely. Could it be the Matrix? Yes, it could be. Do I subscribe to that? Not exactly. I'm kind of here for it, but also kind of not. So, I'm not completely sold on it. But I do encourage people to read it and give me their thoughts and opinions on this. Is this something that we, as individuals, as people who may be holographic beings, is this something that we can prove or disprove? Don't know. At the last sentence of the second paragraph, We are really energy. Matter, time, and space are all forms of energy. I do agree with this. I think we're all just little bundles of energy that seem to take form into matter, into a corporeal sense. And yeah, we're just going along this thing that we have constructed called time in this wider universe of energy called space. And yeah, everything is just energy. I don't even know if time would really be considered energy because it's all just made up. But anyway, let's move on. Middle of the last paragraph on 126. Um, Modern research into fractals, infinitely complex patterns that exhibit repeated patterns under greater magnification, and superstring theory, which is a fun one for me. I love it. Let's see. In superstring theory, the theory expanding the universe beyond 3 dimensions of space, followed in footsteps of describing a vast and complex, yet whole universe. Ancient myths speak of a weaver goddess, weaving the universe into form. Loving this. Perhaps she isn't. Perhaps she weaves with superstrings. These stories include scientific theory, including scientific theory, explain what we know in our spirits. Loving that. He goes on to talk about the Vesica Pisces. I'm not really going to touch on that too much, because that's with the more of the hologram theory. Again, I don't know if I can get on board with that. I do respect it. It could definitely be a valid scientific thing. It could be a scientific proof for all I know, or a scientific law for all I know. But I don't know. I don't know how you would prove something like that, and I don't want to fully commit to something like that because that messes with the whole cosmos of my mind and what I think and believe and what does it all mean and all that stuff. It shakes my faith a little too much to think that we are all holograms. And of what? You know, I don't understand it. So yeah, I can't really get on board because more so because it shakes me too much, and Jelly's worried about me. I think that, or she just wants to be pet. So either way, I'm good with it. So anyway, I do like the Vesica Pisces. Don't get me wrong there. I see a lot of meaning in that. In fact, again, bringing up psychic teachers, they did a whole podcast on the Vesica Pisces and whatnot, and I do suggest you go and listen to it because, as usual, they do a great job. But anyway, yes, go listen to that because it is interesting. It's a free podcast. Why not? Continuing assignments. And I don't even know where we're sitting at on time here. Let's see. Ooh. Come on. There we are. Okay, where are we sitting at on time, guys? Oh, we are going to be out of here quickly today. Okay. This week's assignments are daily journal. We are writing 3 pages a day, guys. I'm going to continue to try it. If you are now just getting started doing your journal, or you're just you're doing it a little bit each day, you know, even if you can't get 3 pages done a day, you know, sometimes I know that I can probably only get 1 page done. If you can only get 1 page done, fantastic. Let's take it as a win that you get 1 page done. The next one on the continuing assignment is honor and recognize your intuition. Continue to ask it questions. always. Practice the orange meditation where you're peeling an orange, where you're smelling the orange, where um, you're feeling, smelling, hearing the sound of the rind peel and whatnot. Use all of your senses with this exercise. It is a good exercise. And then use instant magic in your daily life. So, yes, easy things. I am going to be probably not doing the orange meditation as much, but I am going to be doing the affirmations, and I will be doing the trigger one. Excuse me. So I will be doing those two specifically. I'll probably end up doing the orange one as well, because that's just a fun one to do. Anyway, let me go ahead and edit this down. I am getting quite tired here. Hopefully this comes up on time for you guys. And yeah, hopefully I don't fall asleep trying to edit this. It has been a really long day for me. I got up at like 6:30 this morning, I think it was, because the little cat, not Jelly, the little cat monster woke me up, and she's like, Papa, it's time to go and get a shower and get ready for work. Papa, wake up. Yeah, this cat is insane. She doesn't know the meaning of sleeping in. So I woke up at 6:30 this morning, and by the time my body was even going, it was like 9-10 o'clock. And yeah, then whenever the impeachment trial started, everything else was like blinders. My partner and I went shopping for a little bit, and we had to get like coffee, cappuccino, stuff like that. And he wanted to hit up Kohl's and Ross and all that. And we got a new puzzle. So yeah, other than that, like even during all that, I had my earbuds in. I'm like, do not bother me. I say, you can talk a little bit to me. Don't talk to me too much, because I'm listening to the impeachment trial and I want to pay attention. So yeah, like the entire time that we were out, I was consumed in impeachment trial stuff. So there's that. But now I am exhausted. I am so tired. I'm going to get this edited for you. Again, Inner Temple Witchcraft. Get your copy on through the link in the description below. Leave a comment, like and subscribe. All those YouTube things that you can do to appease the YouTube gods, as well as me. Which you don't have to do, but would be really nice. Anyway, that's all that I have for today. Join me tomorrow. We are talking about Lent and what it means, what we can do, and some ways that we can use it in our practice and whatnot. So join me tomorrow for Lent on Christo-Paganism Sundays, and I will see you guys then. Until then, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.